If you're waking up 2, 3, or even 4 times every night to use the bathroom, I want you to pay close attention, because the solution may involve more than simply drinking less water before bed. In fact, severely restricting fluids can sometimes create problems of its own. I'm Dr. Leah, and today I'm going to show you a practical way nighttime urination, medically known as nocturia, becomes increasingly common as people get older. And it isn't just frustrating. When your sleep is interrupted several times every night, you may wake up exhausted, struggle with daytime concentration, and feel less energetic. Getting out of bed repeatedly in darkness can also increase the risk of falls and injuries, especially for older adults. That's why this conversation is about more than bathroom trips. It's about protecting your sleep, safety, energy, independence, and quality of life. But first, you need to understand why nighttime urination becomes more common after 50. Because once you understand what your bladder, kidneys, and daily habits are doing, the solution begins to make much more sense. So why does nighttime urination become more common after 50? There are several reasons, and understanding them can help you see why simply cutting back on water isn't always the complete answer. First, your bladder changes with age. Over time, it may not hold urine as comfortably as it once did, which means you can begin feeling the urge to urinate sooner, sometimes before your bladder is completely full. Second, your body's normal pattern of producing urine can change. Some older adults begin producing a greater proportion of their daily urine during the night. This is known as nocturnal polyuria, and it can contribute significantly to repeated bathroom trips. Third, what you do during the day can follow you into the night. That morning coffee, afternoon tea, alcohol with dinner, or a salty evening meal may influence how your body handles fluid later. Your kidneys don't simply forget what you consumed several hours earlier. And here's where many people make a mistake. They notice they're waking repeatedly, so they decide, I'll just stop drinking water in the evening. It sounds logical. Less water going in should mean less urine coming out, but your bladder and kidneys aren't quite that simple. Now let's look at 4 common mistakes people make when trying to reduce nighttime bathroom trips. Mistake number 1 is drastically cutting your water intake in the evening. When you don't drink enough overall, your urine can become more concentrated. According to the script, this may irritate the bladder and increase the sensation that you need to urinate, even when your bladder isn't completely full. Mistake number 2 is barely drinking during the day and then catching up at night. Maybe you stay busy, forget about water, and suddenly realize at dinner that you've hardly had anything to drink. Drinking several large glasses late in the evening means your kidneys have more fluid to process close to bedtime. Mistake number 3 is forgetting about hidden fluids and sodium. Soup, fruit, sauces, and other foods contribute fluid. Salty meals can also affect how your body handles water, so what you eat at dinner may influence what happens later that night. And mistake number 4 is focusing only on quantity instead of timing. This is the key idea behind today's routine. It isn't simply about drinking less, it's about changing when you drink throughout the day. Rule number 1 is to front load your hydration. Instead of drinking very little throughout the day and trying to catch up in the evening, aim to consume most of your daily fluids earlier, from the time you wake up through the afternoon. The script suggests getting roughly 70 to 80% of your daily fluids before about 400 or 5 p.m. The idea is to give your body several hours to process that fluid before bedtime. Start your morning with a glass of water. Continue drinking consistently through the morning, around lunchtime, and into the afternoon. Keeping a water bottle somewhere visible can make this easier. By dinner, you shouldn't suddenly realize you're extremely thirsty and need to drink several large glasses. Then comes rule number 2. Create a 2-hour wind-down window. About 2 hours before bedtime, begin gradually reducing your fluid intake. This doesn't mean completely refusing water. If you're thirsty or need water with medication, take the small amount you need. The goal is simply to avoid loading your bladder with large glasses of water, tea, soup, or other fluids shortly before sleeping. Think of it as gradually turning down a tap rather than suddenly shutting it off. Rule number 3 is to watch the timing of caffeine and alcohol. Many people focus entirely on water when trying to reduce nighttime urination, but other drinks can influence what happens after you go to bed. Coffee, caffeinated tea, and some soft drinks may increase urinary frequency in certain people and can also interfere with sleep. That's why the routine recommends having your last caffeinated drink by early afternoon rather than continuing into the evening. Alcohol deserves attention too. That relaxing evening drink may increase urine production and make nighttime bathroom trips more likely. Try reducing evening alcohol and observe whether your sleep improves. Now we come to rule number 4. Pay attention to sodium timing. This is one many people overlook. A salty dinner can influence how your body manages fluid. The script recommends making dinner your lower sodium meal and, when possible, eating saltier foods earlier in the day. That means reconsidering heavily salted sauces, processed foods, salty soups, and other high-sodium choices late in the evening. Instead, flavor dinner with options such as fresh herbs, lemon, garlic, or spices without automatically reaching for additional salt. So far, we've changed when you drink, tapered fluids before bed, and addressed caffeine, alcohol, and sodium. Rule number 5 is elevate and empty. This final step focuses on 2 simple habits before bed, especially for people who notice swelling around their ankles or lower legs during the day. If fluid collects in your legs while you're sitting or standing, some of that fluid can return to your bloodstream when you lie down. Your kidneys may then process it into urine, contributing to nighttime bathroom trips. So during the hour or 2 before bed, the script recommends elevating your legs for about 15 to 20 minutes if you experience leg swelling. This may allow some of that accumulated fluid to shift earlier rather than after you've fallen asleep. The second step is straightforward. Empty your bladder before getting into bed. Don't rush. Give yourself enough time to urinate comfortably rather than straining or forcing the stream. Now let's picture the complete routine. Start your morning with water and make the morning through mid-afternoon your main hydration period. If you're having caffeine, finish it earlier. Keep dinner lighter in sodium and begin tapering fluids approximately 2 hours before sleep. If your legs swell, elevate them before bed, then use the bathroom immediately before lying down. The goal isn't perfection. It's developing a daily rhythm that moves more of your fluid intake and processing into your waking hours. But what if you follow these changes and you're still waking up several times every night? That's when we need to look beyond hydration. Now, what if you follow these hydration changes and you're still waking up several times every night? That's when it's important to recognize that nocturia isn't always caused by when or how much you drink. Certain medications can increase urine production. Changes in blood sugar, prostate enlargement in men, bladder problems, and other medical conditions may also contribute to frequent nighttime urination. So if you've adjusted your habits consistently and nothing improves, don't simply keep reducing your water intake. Speak with your healthcare provider so the underlying reason can be properly evaluated. I'm Dr. Leah, and before we finish, let's quickly review the 5 rules. 1. Drink most of your fluids earlier in the day. 2. Begin tapering fluids about 2 hours before bedtime. 3. Pay attention to caffeine and alcohol, especially later in the day. 4. Consider reducing sodium at dinner and shifting saltier foods earlier. 5. If your legs swell, elevate them before bed, then empty your bladder before lying down. Try following this routine consistently for 7 days and observe what happens. Keep track of how many times you wake to urinate each night so you can compare your results. The goal isn't dehydration, it's better timing and better habits. If you found this helpful, like the video, subscribe, and share it with another adult over 50. And tell me in the comments, how many times do you currently wake up at night to urinate?